morning. Welcome to Tribune News on Q, your go-to morning news source, only here at the Daily Tribune. We're live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Daily Tribune PH on YouTube, and the Daily Tribune Official on TikTok. For today's headlines. Good governance advocate Tony Liachon questioned who allowed Redicon Trading and Construction Corporation to handle the EDSA rehabilitation project, despite its previous joint ventures with Gardiola, linked firms as the project faces a Senate probe over rain-induced pavement damage. Vice President Sara Duterte has asked a Quezon City court to quash the grave threats case filed against her over her 2024 remarks involving President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., First Lady Lisa Araneta Marcos, and former House Speaker Martin Romualdez, citing lack of jurisdiction. Senator Panfilo Lacson branded the alleged Senate Leadership Fund as illegal and unconstitutional, calling it a worse and more corruption-prone version of the pork barrel system abolished by the Supreme Court in 2013. Palas Press Officer Claire Castro challenged Caloocan Representative Igay Erice to a face-to-face confrontation before the media, demanding evidence for his allegations against the Marcos administration. A total solar eclipse plunged parts of Spain into darkness on Wednesday, drawing millions of spectators who gathered across the country to witness the rare celestial event. A stronger yen from faster Bank of Japan rate hikes could boost the peso value of Filipino remittances, but also raise travel and import costs for Filipinos while potentially benefiting Philippine exporters. Vince Lanyada appeared to take a swipe at Atasha Mulak over videos from Bongga Kaday, the Ani Batumbakal musical, questioning the need to record the show and making remarks about the lead star's talent. Russell Westbrook, the NBA's all-time triple-double leader and former MVP, has announced his decision to step away from basketball after an 18-season career. Today is the 14th of August 2026, Friday, and I'm Eliana Lacap bringing you today's top stories. Let's kick things off with today's weather. An orange rainfall warning is up over Zambales and Bataan, where flooding is threatening. A yellow warning is also raised over Metro Manila, Bulacan, Tarlac, Cavite, Batangas, Rizal, and Quezon, with flooding possible in prone areas. Pagasa said moderate to heavy rains may persist over parts of Central Luzon and the Calabarzon for the next 3 hours. Several areas have also suspended classes today due to the bad weather. Residents are advised to monitor updates and take necessary precautions. Now for a traffic update. Light traffic is reported at Balintawak Toll Plaza, Mindanao Toll Plaza, Bukawi Toll Plaza, and San Fernando northbound and southbound lanes. At San Simon northbound, water buildup is reported on the rightmost lane, which remains passable to all types of vehicles. All other areas of NLEX, Asatex, and NLEX connector, including toll plazas and interchanges, have light traffic with no monitored water buildup. Now let's move on to this morning's headlines. Good governance advocate Dr. Tony Liachon questioned Redicon Trading and Construction Corporation's participation in the EDSA rehabilitation project, amid scrutiny over its previous joint ventures with companies linked to the Gardiola Construction Group. Liachon praised the issue after potholes emerged on newly rehabilitated EDSA sections following heavy rains, prompting a Senate probe. The 4 billion plus peso Phase 2 project from Orense Street to Monumento was awarded to Redicon and Dumduma Construction. Redicon also secured a separate 1.18 billion peso preventive maintenance contract. Senator Panfilo Lacson is seeking a probe into the project design and accountability. Malacanang and DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon denied the links between Redicon and Representative Edwin Gardiola, while saying the contractor must cover repairs. The Vice President Sara Duterte has asked a Quezon City court to quash the grave threats case filed against her over her 2024 remarks involving President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., First Lady Lisa Araneta Marcos, and former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Duterte's lawyer confirmed the defense filed a motion to quash, citing lack of jurisdiction. The Department of Justice ordered prosecutors to respond within 5 days. The case stems from Duterte's November 2024 remarks that she had arranged for someone to kill Marcos, his wife, and Romualdez if she were killed. The DOJ filed the case on August 11th after the NBI investigation found probable cause. The Quezon City Regional Trial Court will determine whether the case can proceed. Now, Senator Panfilo Lacson branded the so-called leadership fund allegedly distributed among senators as illegal and unconstitutional, saying it may even be more vulnerable to corruption than the former pork barrel system. Lacson said the alleged scheme had an unlimited ceiling of 4 billion pesos to 11 billion pesos, compared with the pork barrel system's 200 million peso annual allocation per senator. His remarks followed former Public Works Secretary Manuel Bonoan's testimony that senators received a combined 24 billion pesos in leadership funds, with each getting at least 500 million pesos and committee chairs up to 1 billion pesos. Lacson said lawmakers should not intervene in national expenditure program, warning that inserting preferred DPWH projects could enable abuse and corruption. Now, Palace press officer Claire Castro challenged Caloocan Representative Igay Erice to a face-to-face discussion before the media over his allegations against the Marcos administration. Castro said she wants Erice to explain the basis of his claims, particularly his assertion that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s call to file charges against those linked to the flood control controversy was merely for show. She accused Erice of relying on speculation instead of facts, and questioned whether he had personally spoken with the president about the issue. Castro also urged Erice to take legal action if he has evidence of alleged corruption involving local government garbage collection. Now, a rare total solar eclipse plunged parts of Spain into darkness on Wednesday, drawing cheers and applause from spectators across the country. The eclipse was visible along path from Galicia to Mediterranean coast and the Balearic Islands, with totality lasting nearly 2 minutes. In Tarragona, crowds watched the daylight fade before applauding as the moon completely covered the sun. It was the first total solar eclipse visible in Spain in more than a century, drawing locals and tourists to prime viewing spots. Hundreds also gathered in Ledoso, where cheers fell silent as the sun's corona appeared. Many described the spectacle as emotional and unforgettable. Now, potential Bank of Japan interest rate hike could strengthen the yen, bringing both benefits and challenges for Filipinos. A stronger yen could boost the peso value of remittances from Filipino workers in Japan, which reached about $1.79 billion in 2025. However, it could also make Japan trips more expensive as hotels, transportation, food, and shopping costs more in pesos. Philippine exporters could benefit as Filipino products become cheaper for Japanese buyers, while companies importing Japanese machinery, vehicles, and electronics may face higher costs. Japan was the Philippines' third largest export market in 2025, receiving $11.57 billion worth of Philippine goods. Now, theater actor and director Vince Tañada drew mixed reactions online after appearing to take a swipe at Natasha Mulak over her videos of her musical Bongga Kaday de Ani Batumbakal musical. Tañada questioned why audiences were recording the production, joking that the videos were why no one was watching the show. While he did not directly name Mulak, he appeared to reference her while commenting on her talent. His remarks sparked debate, with some defending his theater credentials and others criticizing him for seemingly discouraging newcomers. One netizen noted that popular personalities are sometimes cast in theater and urged audiences to let Mulak pursue the role without resorting to bashing. Now, former NBA MVP Russell Westbrook has decided to step away from basketball after 18 seasons. The The 37-year-old point guard announced his farewell through a video narrated by actor Michael B. Jordan. Featuring highlights from his career, a 9-time All-Star and Olympic gold medalist, Westbrook won the 2017 NBA MVP award and became the league's career leader in triple-doubles with 209. He also averaged a triple-double in 4 seasons, a feat achieved by only 3 players in NBA history. Westbrook spent 11 seasons with the Oklahoma City Thunders before stints with Houston, Washington, the Lakers, LA Clippers, Denver, and Sacramento. Now a quick look at today's horoscope. Today calls for caution and positive developments, Pisces. Those involved in legal matters may receive favorable news, while students could benefit from scholarships or academic opportunities. A boost in income may temporarily improve your financial situation, but be careful when sharing personal information, especially in public. Avoid unnecessary risks that could create unwanted problems. Pay attention to your well-being as breathing or stomach concerns may arise, and don't ignore any persistent symptoms. Now, Tribune, did you know that on this day, on August 14, 1835, Father Jacinto Zamora, one of the 3 martyr priests collectively known as Gomburza, was born in Pandacan, Manila. Zamora became a priest and later joined Fathers Mariano Gomez and Jose Burgos in advocating for equal rights for Filipino secular priests and opposing abuses by the Spanish friars. The 3 priests were accused of conspiring with rebels during the 1872 Cavite Mutiny, arrested and sentenced to death despite disputed evidence. On February 17, 1872, Gomburza were executed by garrote. Zamora was only 36 years old. Their deaths fueled Filipino nationalism and inspired a new generation of reformists, including Jose Rizal, helping shape the movement for Philippine independence. Now, this morning's viral features everyone's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but instead of swinging through the city, he seems to be taking the train home. This Instagram video has racked up 342,000 views, leaving netizens amused by the unexpected sight. Spider-Man is seen casually riding the train, looking just like any other commuter after a long day. Let's watch this.
Spider-Man, nag-MRT ka. Naubusan ka ng sapot.
Naubusan. Nasira yung web shooter ko.
Dami mo kasing nilabas sa movie.
Oo nga.
Pre, Spider-Man, nag-MRT ka. Naubusan ka ng sapot.
Naubusan. Nasira yung web shooter ko.
Dami mo kasing nilabas sa movie.
Oo nga.
And that's all for now, mga katribo. Join us again at 1 o'clock p.m. for more updates. This has been Eliana Lacap for Tribune News on Q.